Florence distinguished herself from the women of her time by achieving a notable position in a world dominated by men.
At the time she would have been going to college, women could not be admitted to the university. So her father said, I will educate my daughters in a classical Cambridge home education.
She learned a lot about mathematics, about science, all the science that was available at the time. She learned 5 or more different languages. She taught herself languages. She was well schooled in Plato and, and history of thought.
Even with that type of education, with that level of education, she was not expected to actually articulate her thoughts.
She would have been considered a lady of the day, which meant that she was kind of expected to be a social person, to provide parties and opportunities for people to meet. But women were not expected to hold any kind of leadership.
There was one letter where she says that she didn't brush or dress herself until she went to Kaiserswerth. So this would have been, when she was in her 20s. So she was born into wealth. She had servants, she had maids, she had footmen. She could do anything that she wanted that women were doing at that particular time.
Florence had the opportunity to marry at least twice that we know of to some very influential people. That turned them both down, and this just devastated her family.
Florence Nightingale had a proposal from a very popular politician, and he was a poet as well, Richard Monckton Milne.
I have a passionate nature which requires satisfaction, and that would find it in him. I have a moral and active nature which requires satisfaction, and that would not find it in his life. Sometimes I think that I will satisfy my passionate nature at all events.
She had a long courtship, and then when she finally refused to marry him, she was just heartbroken.
Since I refused him, not one day has passed without my thinking of him. I know that I could not bear his life, that to be nailed to a continuation and exaggeration of my present life, to put it out of my power, ever to be able to seize the chance of forming for myself a true and rich life, would seem to me like suicide. Florence Nightingale.
And it took a great personal toll on her as a human being, because she was going against the common themes or the common roles of society. She had to be very strong.
So what we have here is a woman then by age 33 who has written a liberation theology, who refuses marriage, who decides that she is going to be a nurse in spite of her parents who wanted her to, marry wealthy, and she was driven by this passion of God. So what we have here then is a woman who was absolutely primed. So when the opportunity came along, she was there for it.
It changed the whole world and the whole world of healthcare, because women stepped forward and said, we can help, we can be of assistance.